What is going on? We are back for another episode of the Media Captain podcast. It is March 26th. You have Jason Parks and sibling business partner Stefanie Parks.
I
Uh,
didn't know if you were going to say my name or I was going to say my name.
we determined a few weeks ago that we're not doing the name switch. So
Okay,
whoever's
you're right. You're right. It's not a
whoever's
switch.
whoever's starting is going to be leading that. So we have some major things to get into today. There was a Google algorithm that finished rolling out on March 25th. We are seeing major changes in Google's local pack. So you got to stay tuned to all of our 11 marketing items as we are going to hit on those. But Steph, what's been going on over the past week? We had a nice dinner last Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, so it has been my husband's 40th birthday week. He turned 40 on Sunday. Big milestone. So we went out to dinner with the whole family. He and I did a little staycation in Columbus. Last time we were debating whether my staycation or your trip to the Caribbean was like a better vacation, and we had a pretty good time. So I don't know. It's really up in the air for me.
Well, here's the thing is that my mom and I could not debate on what to get
You mean
Corey
our
for his
mom? Our mom?
our mom. We didn't know what to get Corey. He's like loves bourbon, so that's the obvious choice. So I came into the equation and I said, "Look, we will get you a trip, like a weekend, because Stephanie and Corey with three little kids are always busy." I said, "We'll get you a weekend trip. Leave on Friday, come back on Sunday. You could pick Chicago, Nashville, Toronto, New York City. My wife added Miami into the mix. I'm 2 weeks in and I still haven't gotten an answer back. Where do we stand on that?"
Well, I have some ideas, and we'll talk about it offline because I'm going to throw a little wrench into the equation,
Oh
which I,
boy.
I always like to do. I like to shake things up. So we won't leave it as a debate for the pod. Maybe we'll talk about it next time, and we'll see how it transpires.
Got it. All right. Well, let's dive into the 11 marketing items. If you're new to this podcast, the format, we work with 100 plus businesses. So we get a lot of great insight and see what trends are happening. And every 2 weeks, we share the 11 top marketing items. So let's dive into it. I want to talk about how PPC fuels SEO data. We work with a client and they have a machine shop in Columbus, in Cincinnati, and they do CNC machining. So we have been running Google, and we do SEO and PPC for them. And on the PPC side, we have been running a campaign for each market, for Columbus and for Cincinnati. Um, what I started to notice is a lot of people were searching at the state level for this sort of like B2B business. They were searching Ohio CNC machining. And so I created a separate campaign specifically for Ohio. And it ends up that there was three times as much search volume for Ohio versus like the individual city of Columbus and Cincinnati. So this prompted me to then think of SEO. On their website, they have a Columbus and they have a Cincinnati page. And they also have a location page, but the location page wasn't really optimized for Ohio. It was serving more as a gateway page. So we went in, we optimized that page, some simple changes, immediately saw it rank towards the top of Google. And I'm a little bit of a nerd with this, but I just thought it was so cool how that PPC insight carried over to an SEO strategy. Steph, what should I just pat myself on the back or what do you think?
Well, a couple of things here. First of all, we always say how much synergy there is between SEO and PPC. So that is just a really good example of it. And you're spending money to pay for these ads and drive traffic to your website, but you're also paying to get this like amazing data that you can use for other areas of your business and your marketing strategy. The other thing I want to say about Advanced CNC, when they first started working with us, I went out to their office to meet them, and they gave me, when I came in, granted, like I was pitching them, but they gave me a gift. They gave me a bag of chocolate covered pretzels. And I was so excited. It was such a small thing, but that stuck with me for such a long time. And because of that, we recently decided that we were going to get these snack bags that were branded with the media captain to send to our prospective clients. So it it always stuck with me how they did that, and I always remembered it, and now we are doing something similar because of it. So that's I know got a little off topic there, but
Wow.
that's
Wow.
something that I'm I told you I like to shake things up.
I never knew you went out there in person. Didn't know this idea for the gift.
Okay, I've told you about the chocolate covered pretzels like a
I, I,
hundred
I, I
times.
didn't I didn't know it was them. So yeah, you
Yeah,
really I didn't know you were coming back when I asked you what you thought of this. I didn't realize you had this whole anecdote.
it
But
it was them.
and Stephanie told me, she said before the podcast, she said, Jason, we need to do more hooks. You need to do more teases. So I'm going to actively work on that. I apologize if I haven't been doing a good job of that. But we're talking about like how valuable the data is on PPC. Um, we have a later in this podcast, we're going to talk about the search terms and how it is a gold mine of data for your business. So stay tuned for that.
Bravo, Jason. Good teaser. You did it.
Thank you. You see the big smile on my face? Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back.
Gonna do it. All right, let's move on.
Okay, so the next item is I just want to talk about the media captain social media strategy. Um, Honestly, if I'm being transparent, it's something that we've struggled with in the past. We are always just busy with other clients, and our own social media kind of gets pushed to the background. Um, the messaging has just always seemed off. It seemed not like mine and Jason's authentic kind of messaging and authentic selves. And we're always preaching, tell your story, be authentic. Every business has this story, and we hadn't really found our voice yet. And we've tried to bring team members in, we've tried to do a lot of different things, and nothing has fit. So Jason and I decided that we are going to have a bi-weekly 2-hour meeting where the two of us are just focusing on our social media. We just got started with this a couple of weeks ago, and we have already come up with just some really authentic, great posts that tell the story of how the media captain started and our business. We just shared one where we posted baby pictures of all of our staff members, and that trend was really cool because everyone was excited about it. It was kind of like a team bonding where everyone saw each other's baby
And
photos. People from the team shared it. So
and
we're
it,
excited. We're excited.
and it got the most engagement of any of our social posts. So our strategy as of 2 months ago, we're going to record this podcast every 2 weeks, and we're going to get 8 to 10 clips and distribute it via social media. Um, the issue is that we were only distributing, we like to think of it in terms of core themes. And so the core theme we were hitting on was knowledge. It was all, we are sharing about trends with Google and with SEO and with PPC and so on and so forth. But we were missing the core theme of personality, team members.
Our
So
family story.
yeah, the story of the business. So we felt like we just had to carve out 2 hours every 2 weeks. And this is a learning lesson for you out there if you're struggling with your social media. We're starting to do this with a lot of business owners. I've mentioned before that we see 10 times the engagement on LinkedIn when the post is coming directly from the personal page of a business owner versus the company page. And we're starting to just have hour-long conversations with CEOs, business owners, getting that great content. But we're definitely not perfect. We've been struggling with our social and mainly from like a bandwidth standpoint, but Stephanie and I are making an emphasis on spending more time on that.
Yeah, yeah. We're excited to see what comes up. And it will be fun for us because we'll get to be creative and reminisce and just spend that time doing something that will be fun for us.
Another funny thing is for years, Stefanie has been saying she's not good at social media. And Stefanie's good at everything, but I knew she was good at social. And there just came something with like two or three clients where to streamline it, she had to be the one coming up with the social posts. And she is great at it. And there was she was working with a roofing company, and there was a storm, and she got ads. She got like a post and ad set up right away, and she sent me a screenshot of the text message, and it said, "Thank you so much, Stefanie. You are a killer." And that
Probably the
just,
best compliment I've ever gotten.
yeah, that was great. But I just thought that was that was funny. All right, let's move on here. Google rolled out the spam algorithm update on March 24th. It was completed in under 24 hours. So this is the fastest that an algorithm has ever rolled out. Normally, when Google announces an algorithm, there is a 2 week, 3 week process where the algorithm's running and then you get an update like 3 weeks later that it's completed. It was done in less than 24 hours. But here's the other interesting thing. Since the end of December, the volatility has just been off the charts. So I use SEMrush's volatility tracker. It shows me how volatile rankings are. It has been at a 9.5 for the past, what seems like, and I'm sorry, I said the end of December, since the end of January. So it's been 2 months where the volatility has been off the charts. So I feel the reason this algorithm ran so quickly, they've been running these tests for 2 months, and that is why I think it's a quick rollout. These updates are so important because they only announce 4 or 5 of these per year. And Google is changing each time. Google is tweaking the way it's evaluating sites, and it can have a positive impact on your business, on your keyword rankings, or it could be really detrimental. So that's why it is so important to gauge, to monitor your keyword rankings, track it versus competitors, and see how you're doing. I know I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but well, Steph, any thoughts on your end? I'll catch my breath.
Anytime I get a text from Jason about an algorithm update, I'm just like feeling dread about what's going to happen. And to me, it's great that they're running these and making sure people are staying on top of what they need to be doing for their SEO. But it's also it can be stressful, and especially if there's something that goes on, just trying to go back and see what went wrong. And sometimes you look at a site and it's very obvious what they were doing to be penalized, but sometimes it's not so obvious, and you kind of have to like retrace the steps and figure out and try to get into the mind of Google and figure out what went wrong. So like Jason said, it's just so important to stay on top of this and make sure that like where your rankings are, where competitors' rankings are. So if something does happen, good or bad, you can figure out what caused it. All right.
Yeah.
So anything else on there?
And a lot of people that have yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So next we are going to talk about, I know we've talked about CallRail a few times. We just learned that you can set up a dedicated tracking number for Google local service ads so that all of the data imports over to CallRail. So you have one centralized dashboard. This is really big because all contact numbers, all phone numbers essentially can be housed in one place within CallRail, just making it organizationally really easy to manage. This is not something that we've set up. We just learned it's possible, but our plan is to roll it out for a few clients to test it out. And we feel like this is going to be really big just to have more visibility into the type of leads that are coming through, what's high quality, what's low quality, and what's driving those higher quality conversions.
Yeah, and where we're really trying to get as an agency, one of our goals is that, our job for clients is to generate leads and sales. But it doesn't really happen after, you know, we you're ranking well, it gets somebody to your website, they fill out a contact form, or they call into your business, but what's happening after? And that's what we're really trying to hone in on. And when you have a centralized dashboard and what we try to do is get someone on the client's team to be the manager of that dashboard, and they are auditing all of the phone calls, all of the contact forms, and they are marking which ones are quality, what's actually turned into business, what's the revenue. And that data marries up so much with marketing, in terms of, well, are the ads working? Should we spend more? Should we spend less? And so the disconnect with local service ads, it was always a separate dashboard, and we're figuring out a way how to get it centralized.
And the big piece here for me is that revenue piece. And we can't get all clients to do it. We don't have it for everybody. But when you do, it is so eye-opening. I have a couple clients, one a personal injury client where they're getting a lot of conversions in their campaign, but we were able to see not only conversions that came in, which ones they converted into new business, and then how much money that new business generated. And we were able to see that we had like over a 10-to-1 return on ad spend, which is huge. We have another client who they are a dumpster rental company, and same thing. Conversions are coming through. They started tracking this in CallRail, very diligently putting in which leads turned into new business and the revenue. And just being able to see those results is so big. And you know what? It may not always be that Google Ads has a positive ROI, and we may decide to kind of divert some of our budget from there if things are not looking good. So whatever way it's showing, it gives us so much information to make better decisions.
I love learning things about clients that on this podcast. I didn't know that about our dumpster rental clients. So that is cool.
Yeah.
Um, all right,
I save all my good stories for the pod.
I know. What else are you holding back? We
Time will tell.
we are rolling out a new internal tool for our agency. Every month, we run a Google search terms report in Google Ads, and we review it with the client to gauge the overall quality. So you track conversions in Google Ads. That's obvious. I always say the search terms is the official source of truth. It tells you, you bid on a keyword, but depending if you're bidding broad, phrase, there are a million different ways that keyword could populate. So the search terms report shows you exactly what people are typing in, and we review it with the client, who is the product expert, or the product or service expert, to confirm accuracy. Well, this takes us about 10 to 20 minutes per client, and we have now automated the entire process where, via an API, we're able to run the search terms report. We're marrying this up with Claude, where Claude then runs the search terms versus their website via a prompt that we've given it. And it gives us recommended negatives. And then now we can review this with the client. So rather than having to log into Google Ads, download the search terms report, pull it into Google Sheet, from the Google Sheet, add it to Google Ads, this is going to save us about 10 to 20 minutes per client. And I did the math on this. This will save our agency about 20 hours per month. Now, it's funny because, this term vibe coding is really trendy. All of these stocks like Monday.com and HubSpot are getting killed because they're saying anybody could just do this coding. I am not a developer. We have developers on our team working on this. I could not spit this up. So there's no way that I could personally do this. I had the concept. I was able to use Claude to help create a mock-up, but we needed a very skilled developer. But I do think what's happening is, for our developers, this might have taken them hundreds of hours in the past, and now they are able to, implement something like this more quickly. So the moral of the story is that be thinking about processes within your company that are time consuming, where you feel that it could be automated, because it could be a huge time saver and just improve overall efficiency.
Yeah, first of all, AI is amazing. Second of all, Jay, don't sell yourself short. You could do anything that you put your mind to. But we
No, no,
are just
I could not.
we are just thinking about all of these ideas of processes that we have that take us a long time. We want to save our strategists time. We want to make their jobs as easy as we can. And tasks like this that are just very repetitive are perfect for AI. So this is probably the first of many to come that we come up with to just improve our overall process, make it easier on our team. It's just crazy how much AI is changing every single day. So we're really excited about it.
But I think AI is changing, but I think to be really successful, you can't be like a generalist using AI and expect amazing output. This developer of ours is really skilled and he's able to leverage AI to make things faster. When it comes to SEO, I know what prompts to put in there to do an analysis on thin content. So, yes, AI is amazing, but I also think it's just like amazing when you are an expert in a certain field and how you can leverage it.
Well, I think you can also get creative. I'll tell you something that I used it for recently, and this will kind of lead into our next point. So, we are in the process of hiring a new strategist for our team. Hiring, going through resumes is something that takes a long time. So I was kind of just testing out. I just discovered that Claude has a Chrome extension where basically you can open up Claude in any group of tabs in Chrome, and it can perform tasks based on what's open in the tabs. So I had our job listing open with the applicants for the position. I asked Claude to analyze. There were 40 applicants in there. I asked them to analyze the applicants. We had asked screener questions. So I asked it to first of all, eliminate anybody who didn't answer the screener questions. Then I asked it to evaluate based on the screener question answers and the resumes and give me a list of who it thought were the top candidates. And granted, it took a long time and I kind of like ran out of juice at the last two applicants, but it gave me a really good list. And things like this are going to get even better and easier. So I thought that was a really cool use case too, which leads into our next point about this application process. Something new that we did this time, which we've never done before, is we asked applicants to record a 60-second Loom video just talking about themselves and why they thought they would be a good fit for the position. What we have found in the past is that we ask these screener questions to try to gauge people's experience in SEO, PPC, whatever. And at this point, like all of the answers that we get back for the most part are AI generated. So we wanted something that allowed us to see the personality of the applicants. And out of 40 applicants so far, only 2 people submitted the video. So what this is doing is kind of eliminating a lot of people before we even get started. If someone's not willing to take the time to do this, or if they're just not following directions, then we're not going to consider them. But it's so great being able to see the person and gauge their personality, and just hear from them firsthand why they think they would be a good fit. So it's something that can't really be done via AI. And it's, I think, going to be really helpful in our hiring process moving forward.
Oh, I think for every company, they're going to move to this. It's just so tedious to go through these applications that are all AI generated, and it was, yeah, such a smart move on your end, Steph, to just have that screener question with the video. And, you'd think we might be discouraged only getting two people recording a video, but the way I think of it is we've just eliminated the amount of time of having to go through 40 applicants.
Yeah.
So, no, that was awesome. And Steph just chatted me a few days ago. She's like, "Hey, check out this guy." And it's fun to see the videos. You definitely get to gauge a lot. Like somebody recorded a video and it was like in their kitchen. It was super messy in the background. Like, sure, he was like saying good things, but if you can't get in a professional setting to record a video, like how much time are you putting into it? And so like you can gauge these things that you would never get from an AI generated like content answer. Moving on, I want to talk about online reviews. It is just becoming so important. The stat I love to share is 44% of clicks on the first page of Google for local businesses come from Google's local pack. And the local pack are the three businesses, the three businesses with the star rating, and it's just the most prominent placement that you can get. The issue is so many businesses just think the reviews are going to come to them. And yeah, if you're maybe like a trendy restaurant, that will be the case. But like,
Well, hold on. Here's what's going to happen. The reviews will come, but really, like, when people leave reviews is when they have a bad experience. So it's likely that reviews are going to start coming in and they may not be positive ones. So being proactive is so important because, there's going to be people that you can't please. There's going to be things that go wrong, and that's normal and that's fine. But if you can build up a base of good reviews, then when the not so good one comes in, it's not quite as much of a gut punch.
and so my wife owns a hair salon and she started it 3 or 4 years ago, and I've helped her with the digital marketing. And I framed it to her like this. I said, look, if you are getting 5 reviews a month, you're going to, in 3 or 4 years, you're going to have over 100 reviews. And she's just close now to getting over 100 reviews. Her ranking in the local pack is improving because reviews are a part of it. But the other thing is that review velocity is really important. So if you have 100 reviews and it's just been stagnant, somebody with 50 reviews that's constantly getting 5 or 6 per month, Google's algorithm is going to start favoring them. So really, you need to find somebody within your company that has ownership of that, and that can be that liaison that is providing a list of clients, customers, segmenting it based off of the ones that they think have had a good experience. And we do this for a lot of our clients where we have a tool that clients can log into. They could send out emails or text messages. It even prompts them to rate their experience, because if it's below an 8 out of 10, you don't want to prompt them to leave a Google review. But it's just such an important thing. And I can't tell you, like, we work with these, when we get some new clients, they're doing 10, $20 million in revenue, and they have 12 Google reviews and a 4.2 rating, so it's low hanging fruit.
Yeah, I very much agree that it's low hanging fruit. And you talked about the software, but the one thing that you left out is the most important, is that the reason that this software is great is because not only does it kind of help automate it, it also follows up. It's easy to ask somebody to leave a review and then, 50-50 chance that they don't, probably higher chance, or 50-50 chance that they do, probably higher chance that they don't. What this service does is it follows up if people haven't left a review. So the follow-up is really important too. I do have a funny story on reviews that happened to me the other day. So for our skincare line, Park Perfection, we just used a new packaging company that was amazing. They're called Xworks. And I've had trouble with packaging companies in the past. Like, I dealt with the owner of this place. He was awesome. And so after the experience, I said, hey, is there like, where would be the best place for me to leave a review? And he said, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I'm just happy that, you're happy. And then the funny part of the story is that he then left a review about me on his LinkedIn page. He posted about me and basically said like how great of a client we were to work with. So it wasn't like a Google review or anything, but I've never asked someone to leave a review and then they left a review about me. So I thought that was like cute and a nice touch.
It shows he's like a genuinely good guy, and that
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, I don't care about the review. Like, I'm happy you're happy. Like, in this day and age, like, you want to get the Google review, but it's
Yeah.
also funny that he then left a review for you.
Well, he was like, I have a big following on LinkedIn. I'm going to promote you. And he said such nice things about me, about us.
Good.
Okay, so next up is just talking about user experience and the homepage of your website. I love user experience, and it's so important to have a good one. We talk all the time about SEO and optimizing the pages on your website, but the bottom line is that your website needs to be easy and intuitive for your potential customers to use. So the user experience has to be really good. Make sure that your homepage is optimized for conversions. So I'm just going to give you like 3 kind of quick hit things to make sure are on your homepage. Number 1, make sure your phone number is big and easy to read and somewhere that is just very visible. Have one clear headline that kind of explains what you do. And then make sure you're using real photos on your homepage to showcase the personality of your team. I can't tell you the number of sites that I've looked at, and we do UX audits for clients. I'll go to their site and, their homepage banner, it says something like, it sounds really beautiful, but I'm like, what do you actually do? Because this does not tell you. And you want to make sure you have so little time to capture attention from people when they visit your website. Make it easy for them to understand what your business does.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people are like, they're not writing the copy themselves,
Well,
and
or they're just like so ingrained in the business. They're like, oh yeah, people will get this.
Mhm.
I was just doing a UX audit for this company that sells like saunas and things like that, and the headline on the banner just said like your wellness destination, and with a picture of a sauna. And I was like, I'm not really well versed in the sauna world, and if I came to this site, like, not sure that I would know what this was. Like, you need to write on here that you sell like saunas and things for like infrared and hot tubs and things like that, because otherwise no one knows like what you do. Okay, moving on. This like blew my mind when I found this out. So Google is slowly phasing out the call button on Google's business profile in the map pack. 80% of numbers have been phased out, according to a study by Noah Iger. So what does this mean is that Google is pushing the user to discover more on the Google business profile, which means that optimization is now more important than ever. So I don't know about you, but I literally use the call button like all the time. And so I am kind of devastated about this because I look for it. I'm calling like a restaurant or get a haircut or whatever. I use that call button very often. So I was surprised to hear this because I'm sure people are just using it so much. But what this means for you as a business owner is that people are going to be looking more closely at your Google business profile because they are still going to be wanting to call you and they are going to be searching for your phone number. So very important to audit your Google business profile and make sure everything is up to date, make sure everything looks good. Jay, anything?
Yeah, and
Anything
it's,
to
I
add?
mean, yeah, it also yeah, it also depends on the business. For like a marketing agency, there's still a button for the website, and I think most people that are interested in a marketing agency aren't just going to call. I mean, they might, but I think they're going to look for the size of the team and the clients that you've worked with, and I think there's like a little bit more research that goes into that. But
Well,
like
if you're
for
Robin Parks, our mom, she calls everybody, so she's gonna be sad about this.
yeah, but for a plumber, it's like you don't really want to go to the website. But I understand why Google's doing it. Like they kind of lose the data once you click that call button, and the more clicks they can get, the more they could learn. Very interesting trend. But like Stephanie alluded to, the importance of updating your Google business profile is more important than ever. Make sure the photos are up to date. We talked about getting reviews, the business description. There's a whole checklist you could go through for that. But fascinating trend. All right, we are wrapping up here. The last two items are, as we always do, we're going to talk about what we're excited about. And I am excited for ILIT in playoff hockey. And so let me explain. The Blue Jackets are on this amazing run right now. The Blue Jackets are like one of the worst franchises in professional sports, and they happen to be my favorite team. In 25 years of existence, they've made it past the first round of the playoffs once. They fired their coach midseason, and this new coach, they have gone on like a 19-3 run. They are just on fire. And to me, like there is nothing better than playoff hockey in my hometown and the weather getting warmer. It's just my favorite thing. Well, here's
Well,
the
it'll be even more of your favorite once you explain the ILIT.
yeah, well, that's what I was doing. So ILIT, so I have bad allergies. I had allergy shots as a kid. I probably stopped taking it when I was 10 years old, and I've kind of just lived through it. What happens is every March and April, uh, my allergies are just terrible to the point where like I kind of just feel sick for the whole month. I have very low energy. And so it's my favorite time of the year with playoff hockey, but it's my least favorite time of the year with allergies. Well,
Oh.
we started working with an allergist, Premier Allergy, and they offer what's called ILIT. So it is 3 allergy shots over 3 months. And so if you know me, like I don't like going to the doctor because the appointment takes long and I'm missing out on work. And the thought of going in for an appointment every month, like I just would never do it. So the doctor told me you can get 3 shots over 3 months. The first thing we're going to do is test you out. Like, are you actually allergic? The results came back and I was like a level 5 for grass, trees, pollen. And the nurse looked at me and she goes, "How have you been living like this without taking shots?" And I was just like, I don't know. It's a rough 2 months for me in March and April, but I've been taking these. I feel so much better. And so the thought, and by the way, it's no guarantee the Blue Jackets make the playoffs, but if the Blue Jackets make the playoffs and I don't have allergies, that might just be like the best time ever.
Well, my son and my husband are going to a Blue Jacket game on Saturday with our dad. Jason's son is very into hockey, so now it's time to get my son on the bandwagon. But speaking of my son, what I'm excited about is that it is Noah's third birthday coming up next week, which feels like a big deal. Like he's a big boy now. He's getting up there. We are having a birthday party for him this weekend at a gymnastics place, and literally for the last month, every time we read like any book, he just like points to, usually the books are about trucks or dinosaurs, and he just points to everything on every page and he says, "Can I have that for my birthday? Can I have that for my birthday?" So he's some of his friends were asking me what he wants, and I was able to get really specific. Yesterday I told a friend he wants a skid steer, and she said, "I don't know what a skid steer is, but I'm sure that Amazon does." And something about my son is that he's obsessed with trucks, and he knows like every single truck. We have this book of 100 trucks, and he reads it and he goes through page by page, and he's like, that's a skid steer, that's a mini excavator, that's a tanker truck, and like these very obscure names of trucks, he knows every single one of them. So we're gonna celebrate this truck loving guy this weekend.
I was walking my son to the park last night, and there's this house under construction in our neighborhood near the park. And I go, "Oh, an excavator." And he goes, "No, Dada." He goes, "Front loader." And it's just a weird feeling when your 2.5-year-old kid knows something where you're like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't know that."
Yeah, Noah's starting to ask like a million questions. The other day, he asked me like how you get bruises. He asked like like where blood comes from. So
Just wait. They'll get more entertaining.
I know, but my fear is that like I'm not really going to be able to answer these questions, and I want to give him like an actual answer.
I
But yeah.
think I think if there's one person I have confidence to come up with the answers, it'll be you.
So this was 11 marketing items for this week. I thought it was a really good episode. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I think we're continuing to get our groove, and for everybody that's continuing to listen, we really appreciate it. But yeah, I give it a solid grade. I was happy. I was happy with the performance.
I feel like we should rate our podcast at the end, like out of 5.
I think the bias recency comes in, and everyone would get a 5. So we'll leave that up to the listeners. If they want to rate our podcast, they can. But I think there'd be like a lot of 4 5s and 5s. But thank
Yeah,
you,
true.
thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in another 2 weeks, and we hope you enjoyed.
Bye.